The massive alien battlecruiser appeared on the station's radar like a wounded whale, trailing sparks and debris across the starlit void. Station Chief Tom Miller watched through the reinforced windows of Earth Orbital Repair Station 7 as the ship limped toward them, its hull scared and its engine pods flickering erratically. "Sir, they're requesting emergency docking clearance," reported Jack, the young radar operator. His eyes were wide with excitement. This was the largest alien vessel they'd ever seen, easily 3 times the size of their repair station. Tom straightened his blue maintenance uniform and nodded. "Grant them clearance for Bay 4. It's the only one big enough." The alien ship's approach was slow and unsteady. Its massive form gradually filled the station's view, blocking out the stars behind it. The vessel's dark purple hull was covered in strange geometric patterns that seemed to shift in the station's lights. As the docking clamps engaged with a series of heavy thuds, Tom made his way to the airlock. He'd dealt with alien ships before, but mostly small traders and transport vessels. Never a military ship of this size. The airlock cycled, and Tom found himself facing 3 tall, blue-skinned aliens in ornate uniforms. Their captain stood in front, nearly 7 feet tall, with 4 arms crossed over his chest in what Tom recognized as a gesture of skepticism. "I am Fleet Commander Rax," the alien announced, his translator making his voice sound metallic. "We have suffered severe damage to our primary and secondary drive systems. Our own engineers are unable to resolve the issue." The admission seemed to pain him. Tom kept his face professional, though inside he was already eager to see what kind of engines these aliens used. "Welcome to EORS 7, Commander. I'm Station Chief Miller. We'll need to do a full diagnostic, but I assure you we can help." The commander made a sound like distant thunder, possibly a laugh. "With respect, Chief Miller, this ship represents the pinnacle of my people's engineering. Our systems are far more advanced than anything in human space." Tom had heard this before. Every species thought their technology was the most advanced. But in his 20 years of repair work, he learned that advanced didn't always mean better. "Let's take a look before making any judgments," Tom said diplomatically. He gestured to his tablet. "May I?" The commander waved one of his 4 hands in permission, and Tom began scanning the ship's systems. His eyebrows rose as he studied the readouts. The quantum drive configuration was unlike anything he'd seen before, but the underlying principles. "Interesting," he muttered. "Your quantum drive uses a rotating field matrix, similar to what we used in our old particle accelerators. The failure cascade started here." He pointed to a diagram, then swiped through several screens, "and spread to these systems." The alien commander's 4 eyes widened slightly. "You can read our engineering schematics." "Problems are problems, Commander. Whether it's a fusion drive or a quantum matrix, the basics of troubleshooting don't change much." Tom looked up from his tablet. "We can fix this, but it won't be quick. I'd estimate 3 Earth days." 3 days? The commander's translator crackled with disbelief. "Our own engineers estimated at least 2 weeks, and they built these engines." Tom allowed himself a small smile. Sometimes it helps to look at things with fresh eyes. "We've developed quite a few tricks working with all sorts of different ships. If you'll trust us, we'll have you back in space ahead of schedule." The commander studied Tom for a long moment, all 4 eyes blinking in sequence. Finally, he uncrossed his arms. "Very well, Chief Miller. Show me what human engineers can do." As Tom led them toward the main repair bay, he could hear his crew already preparing their tools and equipment. They all knew this was their chance to prove what humanity could offer to the galactic community. It wasn't about having the most advanced technology. It was about knowing how to fix things, how to innovate, and how to solve problems that others thought impossible. And if there was one thing humans had perfected over their long history, it was fixing things that others said couldn't be fixed. Lead engineer Kate Ross stood in front of the alien battlecruiser's exposed engine core, her hands on her hips as she studied the complex array of quantum matrices and power conduits. The engine room was massive, with ceiling heights that made her feel tiny in comparison. Strange lights pulsed through transparent tubes that ran along the walls like glowing veins. "Well, this is different," she said, walking around a particularly complex cluster of crystals. The alien engineering team watched her nervously, their blue skin seeming to shimmer under the emergency lights. Tom stood nearby with Commander Rax. "What's your assessment, Kate?" She pulled out her tablet and projected a 3D diagram into the air. "The quantum drive is beautiful, really. But see this connection here." She pointed to a spot where the energy flow seemed to spiral unusually. "It's like an old-fashioned whirlpool in a stream. The power flow is getting caught in a loop." One of the alien engineers stepped forward. "Impossible. The quantum matrices are self-correcting." Kate smiled. "Usually, yes. But look at this." She walked over to a panel and pointed to what looked like a slight discoloration. "Your ship took damage in a recent meteor storm, right? The impact created a microscopic crack in the housing. Normally, that wouldn't matter. But..." She pulled up another diagram. "When quantum energy hits an imperfect surface, it can create feedback, like an echo in a canyon. Small at first, but it builds up. That's what caused your cascade failure." Commander Rax's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. "If what you say is true, the entire matrix would need to be replaced. That would take weeks, and the costs." "Not necessarily," Kate interrupted. She gestured to her assistant, Mike, who wheeled over a cart covered with what looked like mining equipment. The alien engineers stared at the seemingly primitive tools with obvious doubt. "What are these implements?" Commander Rax asked, his translator barely hiding his disdain. "These are modified crystal growth stabilizers from our deep space mining operations," Kate explained. "We use them to repair microfractures in asteroid drilling equipment. The principles aren't that different from your quantum matrices." She picked up one of the devices. It looked like a cross between a welding torch and a medical scanner. "We can use these to repair the crack at the molecular level. Then we'll need to reset the quantum field, but we can do that by..." Kate stopped, noticing the alien's confused expressions. She smiled and simplified her explanation. "Think of it like setting a broken bone. We need to fix the crack, then help the energy flow return to its natural pattern." "Using mining equipment?" one of the alien engineers asked skeptically. "Sometimes the simplest solutions work best," Kate replied. She activated the stabilizer, and a soft blue light emerged from its tip. "Now, watch this." With careful precision, she began working on the damaged section. The aliens crowded around, their skepticism gradually turning to fascination as they watched the cracks slowly disappear under Kate's skilled hands. The quantum energy flow, visible through the transparent sections of the engine, began to smooth out. "Remarkable," Commander Rax muttered, "but the energy pattern is still irregular." "That's where this comes in," Kate said, nodding to Mike. He brought over another device, this one cobbled together from parts that looked like they came from half a dozen different species technology. "We call it the harmonizer. It's something we developed here at the station. It can match any quantum frequency and help guide it back to its proper flow." As she worked, the erratic pulses of energy gradually steadied. The engine's hum changed from an unstable wobble to a smooth, steady tone. Warning lights across the engine room began switching from red to green. One of the alien engineers rushed to check his readings. "The quantum field is stabilizing." "How did you?" Kate powered down her equipment and grinned. "Sometimes you need to think outside the box, or outside the quantum matrix in this case." Tom watched with pride as the alien crew crowded around Kate's equipment, asking questions and taking notes. This was what humans did best, finding new ways to solve old problems, combining technologies in ways nobody else had thought to try. Commander Rax approached Tom. "It seems I underestimated your people's capabilities. Chief Miller, Perhaps there is more to learn from Earth's repair stations than I had imagined. 2 weeks after fixing Commander Rax's battlecruiser, Earth Orbital Repair Station 7 was busier than ever. Tom stood in the control room, watching as 3 new alien ships approached the station. Each one was different from the others. A sleek silver transport, a bulky cargo hauler, and what appeared to be a scientific vessel covered in sensor arrays. They're all requesting emergency repairs, Jack reported from his radar station. The silver ship is claiming they came from 6 systems away just to reach us. Tom rubbed his chin thoughtfully. Bay 2 and 3 are open. Have Kate meet me at the main dock. Looks like we're going to have a busy day. The first ship to dock was the silver transport. Its captain was a tall, insect-like being with compound eyes and shimmering wings. We heard of your success with the Imperial battlecruiser, the captain chittered through their translator. Our main drive is experiencing similar issues. Before Tom could respond, the cargo hauler's captain cut in on the comm channel. We claim second position for repairs. Our ship's AI core is malfunctioning, and 3 other repair stations couldn't fix it. Kate arrived, her tool belt already loaded with equipment. She grinned at Tom. Looks like Commander Rax spread the word about us. All right, let's get organized, Tom announced to everyone. Silver transport, dock in Bay 2. Cargo hauler, Bay 3. Science vessel, please hold position. We'll have space in about 3 hours. The next several hours were a whirlwind of activity. Kate led one team working on the transport's drive system, while Mike handled the cargo hauler's AI problems. Tom moved between the bays, coordinating efforts and answering questions from the curious alien crews. In Bay 2, Kate discovered that the transport's drive system was a completely different design from anything they'd seen before. But she noticed something familiar about its power distribution. See this? She pointed out to her team. The energy flow pattern is similar to old Earth power grids. They had the same problem with power surges. She pulled out a modified surge protector she'd originally designed for human colony ships. We can adapt this to stabilize their system. Meanwhile, in Bay 3, Mike was making his own breakthrough with the cargo hauler's eye. The problem isn't the AI itself, he explained to the ship's worried captain. It's the cooling system. The AI is overheating because these cooling channels are blocked with space dust. We can clear them using a technique we learned from cleaning old Earth computer servers. The science vessel's crew watched all this with great interest, recording everything they saw. Their captain, a being that looked like a floating cloud of purple gas contained in a transparent suit, spoke with Tom. Fascinating, the gaseous captain observed. Your people don't just fix things. You understand them. You see patterns that connect different technologies. Tom nodded. That's because we had to learn everything the hard way. Earth's technology developed step by step, from steam engines to quantum drives. We remember all those steps, and sometimes old solutions work best for new problems. By the end of the day, all 3 ships were repaired. The silver transport's drive hummed with new efficiency. The cargo hauler's AI was running better than ever. Even the science vessel, which had turned out to have a cracked sensor array, was fixed using a combination of Earth welding techniques and alien materials. As the ships prepared to leave, their captains gathered in the station's meeting room. The insect-like transport captain raised all 4 arms in a gesture of respect. We will tell others of this place. Humans may not have the most advanced technology, but you understand machines in a way we have never seen. The gaseous captain's suit rippled in agreement. Perhaps this is why the universe guided us to meet humanity. You bridge the gap between old and new, simple and complex. This is a rare gift. Tom watched the alien ships depart one by one, their running lights bright against the darkness of space. Each ship would spread the word about Earth's repair stations, about human ingenuity and problem-solving. It wasn't just about fixing ships anymore. It was about building bridges between different species and technologies, one repair at a time. Jack's voice came over the intercom. Sir, we're receiving 6 new repair requests from ships in nearby systems. Tom smiled. It was going to be a very busy year. A month had passed, and Earth Orbital Repair Station 7 had become one of the busiest repair facilities in this part of the galaxy. The station had grown, adding 2 new repair bays and hiring more engineers to handle the constant flow of alien ships seeking repairs. Tom was reviewing the day's repair schedules when Jack's voice came through with unusual urgency. "Sir, you need to see this. A ship just dropped out of faster-than-light travel nearby. Well, I've never seen anything like it." The main screen showed a vessel that seemed to be made entirely of shifting geometric patterns, like a puzzle box floating in space. Its surface rippled with colors that shouldn't exist in nature. "They're requesting emergency docking," Jack reported. "The captain says they represent the Galactic Repair Consortium." Tom's face grew serious. The consortium was the largest repair organization in the galaxy, known for their monopoly on advanced repair techniques. They hadn't been happy about losing business to the human repair stations. The geometric ship docked with perfect precision in Bay 1. Its hull settled into a form that looked almost like liquid metal. 3 figures emerged from the airlock. Tall, slim aliens with mirror-like skin that reflected their surroundings. "I am Overseer First Class," the lead alien announced. Its reflection skin showed distorted images of the repair bay. "We have heard much about this primitive repair station." Kate, who had just arrived, bristled at the word primitive, but Tom held up a hand to keep her quiet. "Welcome to EOR 7, Tom said politely. "How can we help you?" The Overseer's surface rippled. "Our ship has suffered a unique form of damage. 3 of our own repair stations have declared it unfixable. We thought perhaps your primitive methods might provide an interesting experiment." Tom and Kate exchanged glances. They both knew this was no ordinary repair request. "May we examine the damage?" Kate asked. The Overseer led them into the geometric ship. The interior was just as strange as the exterior, with corridors that seemed to rearrange themselves as they walked. They reached what appeared to be an engine room, though it looked more like an abstract art gallery. Kate pulled out her diagnostic tools and began scanning. Her eyes widened. "This is interesting. The quantum field is folded in on itself in a way I've never seen before. It's almost like it was deliberately." She stopped, looking at Tom meaningfully. They both realized the same thing. This damage had been created on purpose. It was a test. The Overseer's reflective surface showed their surprised faces. "Yes, you understand now. This is a challenge. The damage is specifically designed to be unrepairable by any known method in the galaxy. If you fail, you must acknowledge publicly that human repair techniques are inferior. If you succeed..." The alien paused. "Well, that would be most unexpected." Tom felt the weight of every human repair station's reputation on his shoulders. The consortium was trying to discredit them, to prove that humanity's recent success was just luck. "We'll need to run a full diagnostic," Tom said carefully. "How long do we have?" 3 standard days, the Overseer replied. "That is how long our repair stations tried before declaring it impossible. Surely your primitive methods won't need longer than that." Kate was already working, her scanners picking up readings that made no sense. "Tom," she whispered, "this is beyond anything we've dealt with. The quantum fields are tangled in 5 different dimensions. It's like they've created a deliberate paradox in the ship's systems." Tom nodded grimly. This wasn't just a repair job anymore. It was a challenge to prove humanity's worth to the galaxy. They would need every bit of human ingenuity, every scrap of knowledge from humanity's long history of solving problems, to fix this impossible damage. "We accept your challenge," Tom told the Overseer. 3 days it is." The Overseer's surface rippled in what might have been amusement. "Then let us see what these humans can really do." Tom called an emergency meeting in the station's main conference room. The wall screen showed complex diagrams of the consortium's ship, its impossible damage spinning in 3-dimensional displays. Kate stood at the front, explaining what they'd found. "It's not just broken, it's broken in a way that fights against being fixed," she said, pointing to the swirling patterns. "Every time we try to correct one part, another part gets worse. It's like trying to untie a knot that makes new tangles as you work." Mike raised his hand. "Could we try shutting down the whole system and restarting it?" "That's the clever part," Kate replied. "The damage is self-sustaining. It doesn't need power to keep breaking itself. Whoever designed this knew exactly what they were doing." The room fell silent. They had just under 3 days left, and they weren't even sure where to start. The overseer and its reflective crew watched from the back of the room, their mirrored surfaces showing distorted images of the worried human faces. Then Mike, who had been unusually quiet, spoke up again. "You know what this reminds me of? My grandfather's old fishing nets." Everyone turned to look at him. Even the overseer's surface rippled with what might have been curiosity. Mike stood up, excited now. When the nets would get tangled, you couldn't just pull on them. That made it worse. But if you put them in water and let them float, the knots would sometimes work themselves loose. "This is a quantum drive, not a fishing net," one of the other engineers pointed out. "No, wait," Kate said, her eyes lighting up. "He's onto something. We're trying to force the quantum fields back into alignment. But what if we let them find their own way back? Like water finding its own level." She rushed to the display and started making calculations. "If we could create a kind of quantum fluid state." Tom watched as Kate and Mike worked together, combining their ideas. Other engineers joined in, suggesting ways to adapt various pieces of equipment. They worked through the night, building something that had never existed before. By the second day, they had constructed what looked like a ring of modified gravity generators around the damaged section of the ship. The overseer watched with obvious skepticism. "That equipment appears to be from at least 6 different species technology," it observed. "Such combinations are highly inadvisable. Sometimes you need to break the rules to fix something," Tom replied. "Kate, are we ready?" Kate nodded, her fingers dancing over the control panel, beginning quantum field liquefaction. Now, the gravity generators hummed to life. Where their fields intersected, space itself seemed to ripple like the surface of a pond. The ship's twisted quantum fields began to shift, flowing like water seeking its lowest point. "It's working," Mike exclaimed. "The tangles are starting to unwind themselves." But then alarms started blaring. The quantum fields were moving too fast, threatening to collapse entirely. The overseer's surface flickered with what might have been satisfaction. They had failed after all. "No," Kate said firmly. "We didn't come this far to give up. Mike, remember what else you do with tangled fishing nets." Mike's eyes widened. "You tap them. Little taps to help the knots work loose." Kate's fingers flew over the controls, making the gravity fields pulse in a gentle rhythm. Like a skilled fisherman working with a tangled net, she guided the quantum fields, letting them find their natural state. Slowly, hour by hour, the impossible damage began to repair itself. The ship's systems, freed from their deliberate tangles, settled back into normal patterns. By the end of the second day, a full day ahead of the deadline, the repair was complete. The overseer's reflective surface showed a kaleidoscope of expressions as it ran its own diagnostics. This is impossible. The damage was specifically designed to prevent self-repair. That's the thing about impossible problems, Tom said with a smile. Sometimes you need to step back and let them solve themselves, with just a little human guidance. News of the impossible repair spread through the galaxy faster than light speed. Within a week of the consortium's challenge, Earth Orbital Repair Station 7's communication systems were overwhelmed with messages. Ships from dozens of species filled the nearby space, waiting for their chance to dock. Tom stood in his office, watching a holographic news broadcast from the Galactic Central Network. The alien newsreader, a being of pure energy contained in a specialized suit, was showing footage of their repair of the consortium's ship. In an unprecedented development, human engineers have achieved what the Galactic Repair Consortium deemed impossible, the newsreader announced. The implications of this success have sent shockwaves through the repair industry. Kate walked in, carrying a stack of data tablets. You should see some of these repair requests we're getting. 3 different species want us to look at their unfixable ships. Even the consortium is sending us their toughest cases now. Speaking of the consortium, Tom said, look who's here. Through the office window, they could see the overseer approaching, its reflective surface now showing clear images rather than the distorted ones from before. The alien entered the office with what appeared to be a more respectful posture. Chief Miller, the overseer began, the consortium has sent me to make you an offer. We would like to establish a formal partnership with Earth's repair stations. Tom raised an eyebrow. A partnership? Just last week you were trying to prove we were primitive. The overseer's surface rippled apologetically. We were incorrect in our assessment. Your solution to our challenge proved something remarkable. You don't just repair ships. You understand the fundamental nature of how things work. Your people have a unique perspective that we now realize is invaluable. What kind of partnership are you proposing? Kate asked. We want to establish joint repair facilities. Your engineers would work alongside ours, teaching each other. We would share our advanced technology, and you would share your problem-solving methods. Before Tom could respond, Mike burst into the office. Sorry to interrupt, but you need to see this. He activated the room's main display screen, showing a live feed from one of the repair bays. A group of young aliens, students from various species, were gathered around an old human repair manual. They were studying diagrams of simple machines, watching in fascination as a human engineer demonstrated basic mechanical principles using nothing but gears and levers. This is happening all over the station, Mike explained excitedly. They're not just interested in our repairs anymore. They want to learn how we think about problems. The overseer watched the scene with interest, its surface reflecting the students' eager faces. This is exactly what we hope to achieve through partnership. Your species has preserved knowledge that many of us forgot in our rush to advance. You understand both the old and the new, the simple and the complex. Tom thought about it. A partnership with the consortium would mean more resources, more opportunities to help others, and a chance to share human ingenuity across the galaxy. All right, he said finally, but on one condition. We maintain our independence. We'll work with you, but Earth's repair stations stay under human control. Agreed, the overseer said immediately. Its surface showed a clear, undistorted reflection for the first time, a sign of complete honesty in its species. The galaxy needs what humanity has to offer. Chief Miller, we would be foolish to try to control it. As if to emphasize the point, a new alert appeared on Tom's screen. Another ship had arrived, this one carrying representatives from the Galactic Science Council. They were requesting permission to study human repair techniques for their archives. Kate grinned. Looks like we're going to need a bigger station. No, Tom said, smiling as he watched more ships appear on the long-range scanners. We're going to need more stations. A lot more. 1 year had passed since the consortium's challenge, and Earth Orbital Repair Station 7 had become something its creators never imagined. The original structure was now the center of a sprawling complex that included repair bays, teaching facilities, and research centers. Ships of all sizes and designs moved carefully through the busy space around the station. Tom stood at his favorite observation window, drinking his morning coffee. Next to him, Commander Rax, now a regular visitor, watched a class of mixed-species students practicing repairs on an old Earth car engine. Who would have thought? The commander said, all 4 arms gesturing at the scene before them. A year ago, my people thought humans were barely worth noticing. Now our best engineers come here to learn. Tom smiled as he watched Kate teaching the class. She was showing them how to diagnose engine problems just by listening and feeling the vibrations, a skill many advanced species had forgotten in their reliance on computer diagnostics. Chief Miller, Mike called out, hurrying over with a data tablet. The new training program is ready. We've translated basic engineering principles into 27 different languages. The tablets showed simple diagrams explaining concepts like leverage, fluid dynamics, and basic mechanics. These fundamental ideas, combined with advanced alien technology, had led to breakthroughs nobody had expected. "Look at this," Mike continued excitedly. "Remember that quantum field liquefaction technique we invented for the consortium's challenge? Someone combined it with old Earth plumbing principles to create a new type of faster-than-light drive. They're calling it the human method design." A group of alien students passed by, carrying tools that mixed Earth designs with their own species' technology. One of them, a young engineer from a crystalline species, stopped to show Tom their latest project. "We adapted human welding techniques to repair quantum crystalline matrices," the student explained, their faceted surface glowing with pride. "It's 10 times faster than our old method, and it works better too." The overseer, who had become a permanent liaison between the consortium and human repair stations, approached their group. Its reflective surface now stayed clear and undistorted, a sign of how much trust had grown between their peoples. "The Galactic University Network has officially recognized human repair science as a primary field of study," it announced. "They're establishing departments of human engineering methods at major learning centers across the galaxy." Tom nodded, thinking about how far they'd come. Throughout the station, he could see the results of this cultural exchange. Alien technology had become more reliable thanks to human insight, while Earth's repair methods had evolved with access to new tools and techniques. Kate finished her class and joined them at the window. "Just got a message from Earth," she said. "They're opening 5 new repair stations next month. There's too much demand for just one station to handle." "And to think," Commander Rax rumbled, "it all started because my ship's engines failed near Earth." "Not just because they failed," Tom corrected him, "but because you gave us a chance to prove ourselves." They watched as a massive ship slowly approached one of the repair bays. Its design was unlike anything they'd seen before, apparently a new species making first contact with humanity. The ship's captain had heard about Earth's repair stations and chosen this as their first point of contact. "You know what I'm most proud of?" Tom said, looking at the diverse crowd of humans and aliens working together throughout the station. "We didn't just teach them how to fix ships. We showed them that sometimes the old ways still matter, that simple solutions can solve complex problems, and that progress doesn't mean forgetting what worked before." The station's lights glowed warmly against the darkness of space, a beacon of human ingenuity and cooperation. In repair bays and classrooms throughout the facility, the next generation of engineers, human and alien alike, were learning to combine the best of both worlds. Earth's repair stations had become more than just places to fix broken ships. They had become bridges between species, between past and future, between simple and advanced technology. And somewhere out there, more ships were on their way, drawn to this place where impossible problems found surprising solutions through human innovation and understanding.